guys? Welcome to episode 41 of the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. We're going to be going over the October 28th edition of Raw, the final episode of Raw before Crown Jewel, the go-home show, if you will. An eventful show, not the best episode of Raw I've seen, but progressed some storylines. Some key moments happened tonight. We're going to go over all of it, starting with the first segment. Jey Uso kicked off the show. He lost the Intercontinental Championship to Braun Breaker in the main event of last week's episode of Raw because the new version of the Bloodline, led by Solo Sikoa, got involved and cost him the match, and Braun Breaker won the Intercontinental title for the second time in his career. Jey Uso got his revenge this past Friday night on SmackDown, though. He showed up during the impromptu Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa's WWE Tag Team title defense against the Motor City Machine Guns. They had just won a match to earn a title shot. The Bloodline shows up, says, hey, why don't we do that title match now? Trying to capitalize on a weakened opponent. Well, it didn't matter because Jey Uso got involved. He showed up in a mask after Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns already interfered. They battled Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu to the back. Jey Uso shows up in a mask, costs Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa the titles. Motor City Machine Guns are the new tag team champions. Makes sense. Bloodline cost Jey Uso his IC title. He returned the favor by costing the faction the WWE Tag Team Championships. Makes perfect sense. Jey Uso kicks off tonight's show, discusses costing his former faction the Tag Team Championships. He's interrupted by Jimmy Uso. They shared a hug in the closing moments of Friday's SmackDown. And he said, we need to be doing this together. Jimmy Uso said, we the ones, they not the ones. And Jey Uso said, you know what? We're not the ones anymore either. So there's still some issues to be worked through there. And then the Bloodline, not with Solo Sikoa, everybody besides Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, attacked the Usos, but the Usos fought them all off on their own. So we'll see Solo Sikoa later on the show, though, but I really like this opening promo. I'm kind of disappointed for Jey Uso just because of his singles reign. It's over. His singles run is completely over. He won one singles championship for 28 days. He held that Intercontinental Championship, and it's already over with. It feels like he's just going back to the Bloodline. It makes sense. It's going to be an epic storyline, but I feel like Jey Uso and the Yeet Master himself has a connection with the WWE Universe that could have been explored more, and he could have become a big-time single star. We'll never know, I don't think, because he's reuniting with the Usos. They're involved in this Bloodline storyline, and I think it's going to go all the way to WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens next. We then cut to backstage where Raw GM Adam Pearce is just livid with Nick Aldis, SmackDown GM Nick Aldis, for allowing the Bloodline to come on the show tonight. He said, control your roster. So they're still hinting at some feud with Pearce and Aldis, the two former NWA champions. That would be fantastic to see them have a match sometime down the line. They could pull it off. Aldis is great, and Pearce can still go. But he was then interrupted by the Judgment Day. Dominik Mysterio wanted to know who his opponent was, and Pearce announced would be Damian Priest. So that is tonight's main event, Damian Priest versus Dominik Mysterio. If Mysterio wins, he's in line for a title match against Gunther. Gunther took the World Heavyweight Championship from Damian Priest at SummerSlam, and Finn Balor betrayed Priest in the match to make that happen. So, interesting main event, good backstory. Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus. I was looking forward to this match. I was pretty let down. by this match. It was fine, good back and forth. They've had a few matches before on Raw. This was just another one. I was expecting something different. I don't know why, but I thought Ludwig Kaiser was in line for a push here as a single star. I thought they were going to begin that now with a win over Sheamus. That's not what happened. Sheamus won the match clean with a bro kick, and Ludwig Kaiser got a jobber entrance. He was just shown in the ring after commercial, that jobber entrance, and they gave Sheamus the full entrance, and he marched to the ring and won the match. I don't understand that. I don't know what we're doing with Sheamus here, why he needs wins over Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser. What are we building Sheamus up for? Maybe a match against Braun Breaker down the line, because Sheamus has never won the Intercontinental Championship. That's the one title he's never won. So maybe they're building toward that. Sheamus versus Breaker would be a good feud, but I want Ludwig Kaiser to stop being pushed now too. He shouldn't just be the lackey for Gunther here who eats losses. He should be. He has the look. He's a good performer in the ring. Do something with him. Why can't Ludwig Kaiser be in the mix for the Intercontinental Championship? I just didn't understand this match. It was fine, but I wanted Ludwig to win. It didn't make sense for me for Sheamus to win this match, unless they have plans for Sheamus to go after the Intercontinental Championship. But I don't want to see Sheamus defeat Braun Breaker. So I just wasn't a fan of it. Rhea Ripley cut a promo, a vignette about Raquel Rodriguez, just saying, you try to paint this pretty picture that you don't deserve all these beatings I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you them. And she just said she's still going after the Women's World Championship, and they're going to have to kill her to prevent her from becoming champion. So we'll see. If Rhea Ripley might not be involved at all at Crown Jewel, I'm assuming she's not going to Saudi Arabia, so this is just she's off for a week or two, maybe returning next week on Raw. She was not involved in anything else besides this tonight, so she didn't get involved in the Dominik Mysterio Judgment Day match and the Judgment Day attack that took place in that. She just was not here besides this vignette. Now we get to what I think is the main part of tonight's show, the main takeaway, the most important thing that happened was this, and then a segment later, right before the main event, which we'll talk about later. But Sami Zayn had a conversation with Jey Uso backstage. He approached both Jimmy and Jey, and Jimmy gave him the side eye. It looked like he wanted to kill him. Jey Uso was like, "What are you doing? Relax. Let me talk to Sami by myself." So they have this conversation, and Sami Zayn logically brings up some great points to Jey Uso. He said, "Why are you going back to the Bloodline? You were just so excited to get out of that faction last year after SummerSlam. You wanted to create your own story, become your own man, go out on your own. You did it. Why the hell would you go back to the faction that screwed you over, that Roman Reigns made you jump through all these hoops just to prove your loyalty to him? Why would you go back to that faction?" And Jey Uso, with a perfect response, said, "Well, you wouldn't understand because they're family and you're not." So there's still that hiccup with the original Bloodline where Sami Zayn wanted to join, took him forever to win over Jey Uso's trust. Him and Jimmy Uso had a secret handshake before Jey Uso warmed up to Sami. And then they became great friends after leaving the Bloodline and storyline and probably in real life. But just Sami Zayn, just Jey Uso holding on to that thing that Sami Zayn's not family still. And then what happened later on in the night, it's just brilliant storytelling. And we'll get to that, what happened later on in the night, right before the main event. But Seth Rollins, he's facing Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel. Bronson Reed attacked him on the August 5th episode of Raw, hit him with 6 tsunami splashes. He met with Adam Pearce at Adam Pearce's house. Adam Pearce traveled to Bronson Reed's house for a sit-down conversation about a singles match that should be a simple thing to book. You don't like Seth Rollins, you keep attacking him, he attacks you. Let's have a match at Crown Jewel. For whatever reason, Adam Pearce had to travel to Bronson Reed's house to calm him down because of these attacks. He still hasn't gotten a hold of it. He still hasn't made any changes. He still hasn't improved his security, as evident by what happened tonight. So Seth Rollins comes to the ring. He cuts a promo. He said, "I'm looking forward to my match against Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel. He's awoken the monster inside of me, and reminded me of what I'm capable of when I go to the dark side." Essentially, is what he said here. Bronson Reed shows up on the jumbotron. He says, "Hey, if you want to go monster hunting, I'm in the parking lot and I'm not moving. Come on, come back here." So Rollins then leaves the ring, walks up the entrance ramp, walks past Gorilla, where presumably Triple H and everybody will be sitting backstage. Triple H is giving Randy Orton lectures as he's trying to protect him from Kevin Owens, but meanwhile he just lets Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins do whatever. That's weird. But Seth Rollins just walks past everybody, walks past Gorilla, and then he bumps into Adam Pearce backstage. And Adam Pearce is like, "I gave you the match at Crown Jewel. You guys can't what are you going to fight now? What are you, crazy?" How long has Adam Pearce been the Raw GM? When is he going to realize that these security guys that he has don't do anything, and he sucks as a GM, just trying to control his roster? He has no position to be calling Nick Aldis, telling him to control his roster. He can't control anything on Raw. Seth Rollins walked right past him, total disrespect. I don't care what you have to say, and he started brawling with Bronson Reed. Reed slams Rollins on top of a car. Rollins responds by hitting a stomp on top of the same car. Reed somehow gets up. They brawl some more. Finally separated. But not until there was cars involved in this segment. Just Adam Pearce throwing out these accusations at Nick Aldis that he can't control his roster. Hey, man, maybe clean up your own house before you start criticizing others. Holy shit. R-Truth and The Miz have a conversation backstage. R-Truth's with Alpha Academy, whatever. The Miz apologizes to R-Truth. He's just trying to get out of this feud with the Wyatt Six. He's trying to get away from the Final Testament because Karrion Kross has lost his mind and is obsessed with the Miz, it seems. But that wasn't going to happen. R-Truth made it seem like they were friends. He said, hey, Alpha Academy, I'll handle this, man. I'm just talking to my old friend here. And they did the Awesome Truth pose together. They look like they're going to reunite, and Truth just punched the Miz in the face. Later on Raw, the Miz confronts Adam Pearce backstage and says, hey, the Final Testament is following me around. They're obsessed with me. I need to get away from them. What are you going to do about this? And Pearce just laughs in the Miz's face. And then the Miz turns around, and Karrion Kross and the Final Testament are right behind him. Kross tells the Miz that you're going to find Bo Dallas tonight, and if you don't, we're going to break both of your legs. So that's the predicament that the Miz is in. Karrion Kross wants the Miz to find Bo Dallas so they can work things out. We'll see where this storyline goes, but I'm enjoying it, and this is the best Karrion Kross has looked in a long time. Just in these promos, just with this character, he's doing a great job. I want to just praise Kross after years of bashing him. Most of it not because of his own doing, just the booking, the way they utilize him. He's a very talented guy. He's not the most exciting wrestler in the ring, but there's ways to use him, and they found it here as the leader of this faction. Now, if they can make the Authors of Pain more interesting, then they'd really have something here. But I'm enjoying this Karrion Kross and Final Testament versus the Wyatt Six and the Miz being involved storyline. For whatever reason, it's captured my attention. I hope they do something good with the Wyatt Six. I mean, they beat American Made. Uncle Howdy beat Chad Gable on Raw 2 months ago, and now they're just, posting QR codes, essentially. They're just posting clues again. It's a little... They got to do something more substantial with the Wyatt Six. They don't need to go all crazy and spiritual and, wild with the storyline. Just having just a good feud with the Final Testament, just to put the Wyatt Six, continue to give them wins, but have them featured and competing on television regularly. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. And I don't know how much longer the Wyatt Six will be around. They're going to be feuding with the Final Testament. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully other people are interested like me. I feel like I'm the only one interested in this storyline, but I'm really enjoying it. I just hope they have a plan, and it's entertaining. Because if it's just, the Wyatt Six versus the Final Testament in a street fight again or whatever, I'm not into it. I want to see a storyline, and we're getting that here. We're getting pieces of it. Kross threatening the Miz. I'm into it. There's a lot going on here for the simple mid-card storyline, and that's what you need. You need just weird character traits. The Miz is always going to be a deep down a heel that's going to screw everybody over. He's not going to help the Final Testament against the Wyatt Six. He's going to try to get out of this, so I'm into it. Now we get to the triple threat tag team match to determine the Judgment Day's next opponents for the World Tag Team Championships. It's the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, versus Latino World Order's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and the returning War Raiders. They returned a couple weeks ago to advance into this tournament here, and they're in the finals. This match got a substantial amount of time. They give it, I think it was the longest match of the night. I could be wrong there, but I don't think so. They gave it 2 commercial breaks. It went not just entrances. They had some action, came back, match is still going on. Another commercial break 7 minutes later, and the match went on for another 7 minutes when they returned. It was a good match. The ending was bizarre to me. Chad Gable attacks Rey Mysterio and puts him in the ankle lock outside the ring. The feud to me would be Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio with the mask here. I don't know why, because Xavier Woods defeated Rey Mysterio earlier this month by taking off his mask and the distraction and stole the win. I thought the New Day would win this match here. I was wrong. I thought they would win it by Xavier Woods continuing to tease a heel turn. He was distracted by Rey Mysterio in this match. It seemed like, but we didn't get that much there. I don't understand why Chad Gable is just thrown into this here. I don't understand what they're doing with Chad Gable in American Made. I don't get it. They had Otis was as over as he will ever be a couple months ago, and they could have had this epic rivalry with Chad Gable and Otis, and they punted it for Chad Gable to form a new faction against the Wyatt Six, and the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile just lose regularly. So I don't understand that. But the War Raiders wound up winning this match because of Chad Gable's interference. So Eric and Ivar get a title match against Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Finn Balor and JD McDonough have to be the worst tag team champions in recent memory. They never defend the titles. Nobody gives a shit that they have the titles. take the titles off him, put him on the War Raiders, get Finn Balor back to being a single star. His tag team with the Irish Ace isn't going anywhere at all. Now we get to what happened with Sami Zayn after his conversation with Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso then were shown backstage having a conversation. Jimmy Uso said, look, I'll go talk to Sami. Basically trying to just end all conflict with Jey Uso. Said, I'll go make it nice with Sami. I'll go talk to him. I'll go sort this out. Cut to later in the show, right before the main event. Jimmy Uso's just out in the parking lot, just flustered, and Jey Uso approaches him and goes, what's going on? He said, shh, look. And he points behind him, and the camera slowly pans to Solo Sikoa in a Jeep, or whatever car he was in, right, having a conversation with Sami Zayn right in the middle of the parking lot. So what is Sami Zayn considering joining the new version of the Bloodline because of his interaction with Jey Uso earlier in the night? Is he trying to have reason with Solo Sikoa? Is Solo Sikoa trying to recruit the honorary use to the new version of the Bloodline just to fuck with Jey Uso? There's a lot of things going on there, and I still want to see the honorary use Sami Zayn reunite with the original Bloodline and face the new version of the Bloodline in a War Games match at Survivor Series. I still think we're going there, but Sami Zayn could turn heel. Kevin Owens is heel on SmackDown. He could jump over to SmackDown with Jey Uso and turn heel and join Solo Sikoa's faction. Who knows? There's a million ways they can go. Sami Zayn has been floundering since losing the IC title to Braun Breaker at SummerSlam on Raw. Why not bring him to SmackDown? This storyline has endless ways it could branch off here, but just that little, what the hell is Sami Zayn talking to Solo Sikoa about? I'm going to be thinking about that randomly. What the hell was that conversation about? The writer in me, I'm trying to figure out where are they going with this? And that's why I watch wrestling. Yes, I love the wrestling matches, but I love the live aspect of like live storytelling and figuring out where these angles are going to go. And I have no idea. I believe that Sami Zayn's going to reunite with the original Bloodline, make up with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, and they're going to face Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tongalo, and Jacob Fatu in a War Games match at Survivor Series. Maybe 2 more members will be added, 1 more member on each side to make it 5v5. We'll see, but that's where I think they're going. But if Sami Zayn decides, hey, you know what, screw this old Bloodline. They fucked me over at Royal Rumble 2023. Roman Reigns beat the shit out of me because I refused to hit Kevin Owens with a steel chair. And now a year later, you're just going to go back with them. Why? Why? Because Roman Reigns lost the title and was humbled? Now he's a good guy? I love that storyline. Maybe Sami Zayn's like, well, fuck them. Fuck the original Bloodline. I'm with Solo Sikoa now. That would just be a weird little wrinkle that I would enjoy. But finally, to the main event, Dominik Mysterio versus Damian Priest. Before this match, Dominik Mysterio said, I'm going to go in alone. Of course, that didn't happen. The Judgment Day got involved. 5 minutes in, JD McDonough's hopping over the barricade. Carlito showed up. Liv Morgan's distracting the referee. Raquel Rodriguez is ringside. Just pure chaos. 5 minutes in, it's Dominik Mysterio wants to prove himself on his own. No, he doesn't. I love that. And then, just Judgment Day keeps getting involved. Damian Priest beats the shit out of JD McDonough with a chair. Does the same to Carlito. He's just distracted for that moment. And Dominik Mysterio rolls him up to close the show with a win. That's how Raw went off the air, with Dominik Mysterio getting a win to earn a title match against Gunther, and then Damian Priest just beating the bejesus out of Dominik Mysterio, Carlito, JD McDonough. South of Heaven choke slams all around for everyone. For Priest, who again, I've said, I thought he drastically improved after becoming World Heavyweight Champion with a microphone. I thought he was hesitant and just seemed forced and just struggling with promos for a while. Now he's a natural, Priest is, but he's not a champion anymore, and he's losing to Dominik Mysterio. Despite he got the beat down after, there's no reason for Damian Priest to be back in the World Heavyweight Championship picture anytime soon. But you don't have to. He's still a star to me, and I think he could be a massive star. I thought that World Heavyweight Championship reign did a lot for him. But now, after that, he's losing to Dominik Mysterio. Not the end of the world here. But you can't keep giving Damian Priest losses. You can't, if you want to keep him at a certain level, he can't really be losing to Dominik Mysterio. But again, he did beat the shit out of everyone else, everyone, including Dominik. So it's not like he like ended the night on his back. But Dominik Mysterio is not winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther. I'd be shocked, but I'm excited about just the storyline. I love Dom. He's just a total asshole, and I want to see how they try to screw Gunther out of the title or where this goes. But he's in line for a title match, so we're going to see it in the next month or so, I'm looking forward to it. Zelina Vega also battled Ivy Nile tonight of American Made. The Creed brothers got involved, distractions, and Ivy Nile won. I don't know what's going on with... the American Made isn't working for me at all. It just has not worked for me since they launched this faction. I like the Creed brothers, and I like Ivy Nile. She's incredibly talented. She's an unbelievable athlete. But the presentation, it's not working for me right now. And Zelina Vega, she had that match against Rhea Ripley at Backlash 2023, and now it's just nothing for Zelina Vega. It's disappointing. But that is it for this week's Raw review. We'll catch you guys on Wednesday night after Dynamite for the Dynamite review. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thanks for watching.